There are five stages of grief. The first stage is denial, where the patient or the person who gets the news is in denial mode. This cannot happen, and they don't even accept the news. So like someone has expired, they want to now. But he has not died. He has not yet. He's still there with us. The second stage is anger. The person feels anger towards that other person who has left him or her, and thinking that why did he leave her, and that he has been selfish in leaving me alone in this world. The third stage is bargaining, where the person feels that why it is him instead of me. Why didn't I suffer the same pain and shame, and why did he suffer or she suffered? The fourth stage is depression. In depression, the person goes into low mood. They are his personal or social or professional life is hampered. His sleep and appetite are hampered. See, he is unable to do normal daily activities. Then the last stage comes acceptance. So the person starts accepting that this person is no more, or that the disease is gonna stay, and what we need to fight. These are five stages of grief. If grief happens to people who are psychologically very weak, or someone who is not adept to handling bad news, or has not dealt with shock a lot, these are the people who goes into grief reaction. The period of grief reaction can be within 4 to 6 weeks, but studies have revealed that extensive grief reaction can extend up to 6 months post the traumatic event. Post even after 6 months, if this grief continues, then we will categorize it into either PTSD or depressive disorder. Young generation or the young children, basically the pediatric age group, they process information very differently from that of adults. It will be very new to them. I have come across various instances where a very young child, lost his father, and everybody is grieving, but the child is playing, and because for the child he knows the dad has gone out for some work or what he feels, and he will come back. So they don't understand the situation or the grieveness of the great grieveness of the situation, which is quite normal. The thing is that for the child, for them, they don't understand this fact of life and death. It's very difficult to explain that to a child, and they will not process the information properly. So, if it is like that, I would always suggest, because the people who will be trying to explain this thing to the child, they are also in grief. So they should hold their back the emotions first, and they should explain plain and simple words what has happened, and not break down in front of the child, which that will harm the child more, and the child will feel suddenly lonely, and they will become a bag of nerves, and they might go into severe depression or behavioral changes. So we should break down the news slowly to the child. We know that physical presence is much more important than actually calling over the phone and saying that we are there for you and my condolences to you. I will always suggest the person who is actually grieving, you should actually go and visit that person physically, and be there as much as possible for the person, and always have that physical touch intimacy. When you touch, you give him a hug, or hold their hands, and tell them that he or she is not alone in this journey. We will trade it together, and we'll fight the battle together. A comforting touch, hug, or words physically has way more effect than doing it on over the phone, or via somebody else. And what I said, that you should not leave the person who is actually living alone even for a minute, because when the person stays alone, these thoughts, ruminating thoughts, are more frequent, and they keep flooding into the person's mind. So he or she should always be in some kind of activity and should always be in the presence of some other human being. There are three lives like professional, social, and personal. Out of the three lives, even after the period of 4 to 6 weeks, if still there are problems and you are not able to handle the stress and you are not able to get the thing out of your head and you are breaking down easily, you're crying, you are emotionally viable, and you are not able to concentrate on on the job at hand, you're forgetting things, your sleep and appetite is hampered, there are mood fluctuations, you feel like helplessness and hopelessness, that there is no hope for you or anything. If these things persist and if the more symptoms like this are there in you, then I presume you should go seek professional help, either from a therapist, a psychotherapist, or a psychiatrist.